Mr. Chairman, yesterday we dismissed impeachment charges against Secretary Mayorkas that were delivered by the House, and the rationale by the majority leader was that the conduct in question did not arise to a high crime or misdemeanor under the Constitution. Well, Article 2, I'm not going to bore the committee with a lengthy dissertation, basically accuses Secretary Mayorkas of misleading and lying to the Congress about the status of our situation on the border. If that's not a high crime or misdemeanor, I don't know what would be. We impeached President Clinton for giving false testimony in a civil deposition involving a civil lawsuit. So what's the concern? That Secretary Mayorkas has been misleading the country and the public, and my concern is about parole. I asked him in November 2023, do you do a case-by-case analysis? This is to Mayorkas. Senator, we comply with the law. So there's a file for all 240,000 where somebody determined they met the two criteria, urgent humanitarian need or significant public benefit. There's an individual determination made on all 240,000. I can see that. Yes, Senator. I'm asking for that. So in your opinion, 240,000 people are individually screened and granted parole. You're not blanket paroling people, are you? That is correct. So the bottom line is, what do we now know? That the parole statute requires parole to be limited to two things: urgent humanitarian need for the person, maybe your mother's dying, something going on that's really urgent, or you have a special benefit to our country, which may be you're a witness in a cartel trial. Not just to come into the country on parole because somebody at DHS wants to make you come into the country. So what have we learned? 2 days ago, we learned that the man charged with killing Laken Riley, Mr. Ibarra, was paroled because there was no space in the El Paso detention facility for him. That's why he's paroled, due to detention capacity at the Central Processing Center in El Paso, Texas. That's not a valid reason to parole anybody. So I would argue this is Exhibit A of where the statute and the actions of the Secretary do not match, and the testimony that he gave to the Congress doesn't match. You've decided to dismiss this case without any inquiry, judicial, Senate review, first time in the history of the country, and the argument that you make is that the conduct alleged by the House doesn't rise to high crime or misdemeanor. That is stunningly bad for the Senate, bad for the country, and the only thing left now, I guess, for the American people is to decide this issue at the ballot box. But the Senate, in my view, yesterday went down a path that no other Senate in the history of the country has done, and that is to dismiss charges serious in nature without any really inquiry by the Senate itself. So very disappointing, and thank you for the time.